All right, good evening, everybody. System Chalk here with the 213th episode of Book of Hours, playing as the artist. I had a bit of just a distraction between episodes here, so I'm going to reread the last entry that I had, and we will continue on. Definitely eager to finish off spring and see what the summer brings. Hopefully, it will bring a Hyxo speaker, or possibly Numa, or possibly both. But let's see where we're at. Alice licit tibi non licit. To us it is permitted, to you it is not permitted, the motto of the Suppression Bureau. The story goes that Governor Collars used to keep another sign in his office with the motto of the Nocturnal Branch, the Bureau's predecessor, Radix Malorum Libertas Est. If someone complained about Bureau policies, he would point to the sign to remind them that things could be worse. Eventually, it was pointed out to him that the root of evils is liberty was an undiplomatic motto to display in a prison, and he grumpily retired the sign. Okay, so I will confess, I know I was sort of on a roll for today, and then I got distracted, so I'm going to take a look at the Julian Cosley portrait. Let's use our FOSS for that. Investigate this object. You won't use this up or consume it by doing this. Let's also just take a quick look at the other parts of the... Okay, so Crowcross Sands, the Moor, and Sweet Bones are all currently being used. If you can just give me a second here, I'm going to try something. Okay. So let's keep going. Craft Ichor Auroral with Keeper level Rose, not Sky. The Ichor Auroral is a precursor to the Great Ink Porphyrin. So, certainly no shortage of that. As used to say in my youth, the day is done and so am I, but I've earned my pay. There's not much work on offer in Brandkrug, but I can find 6 pence worth of odd jobs. Oh, this is unexpected. Mushrooms! Look at that skull. Eat them on toast, bake them with potatoes, or pickle them alone. So I suspect this is something that will be... that'll come up a bit more when it comes to... I think this will come up a little bit more when it comes to... oh, what am I trying to say? House of Light. Sea-strewn, salt-snared stuff. So I think we'll just chuck this automatically. Of course, for us, the food isn't really that relevant just because we already have... we already have all the rooms open, so unless we can actually do something with those... you know, maybe it would be better for me to try to make the... Or, well, we're already using the inks. But yeah, I can't host a salon or anything like that yet. We need the expansion for that. So it's just a nice to have at this point. Julian Cosley. Julian is known to be winter-long. At a prescribed date, his hour patron will ensure him a beautiful ending, but until then, he is even harder than most long to dispose of finally. That said, he is known to have been defeated by an ascendant long in the 1920s, and his true current status, a diminished survivor, a determined memory, something else, is subject of esoteric debate. Cosley spent time at Hush House in the 17th century, but this painting, though undated, is clearly much more recent. It is also signed by Cosley himself, a gift to an imprisoned admirer. So I think we are out of things that we can investigate in this room. They're all attached to the door, although we can note these here. So all the keys of all the cells still hang here. I can unlock them all at my leisure, but the most significant cells of the Kukurbit were protected by more than locks. The least cells I shouldn't trouble with. The keys to the most cells are labeled adept, long, WI, and unhelpfully question mark? Dartboard. The thock of the darts punctuated the long evenings and drifted down the corridor to the grilled doors of the cells. The extragulari always won, and rather soon none of the other guards would play with them unless they agreed to be blindfolded. Staff armchair, polished by the posteriors of a dozen loafing prison guards. The staff room. The warders at Brandkrug were a cut above your usual prisoner warder, former bureau constables, repentant no, turncoat dragulari veterans of the Legion du Sol. When the end came, none of that mattered, but here for a while, when the winter storms battered the walls, they hunkered close to this glowing stove to share tea and comradeship and stories of their very different lives. Okay, now we don't really have anything to investigate in the worm-inhabited cell. The occupant of this cell could not be allowed fresh air and exercise. This could not have been, it could not have reasonably been expected to leave the cell ever again, even while it wore human shape. But it could not be confined forever. In the end, somehow, it found its way into the walls. The question mark cell. This was the last prisoner ever to be admitted to the jail, but only the date has been recorded. No record of its origin, crime, or arrest remains. Collars was a man of many secrets. Sometimes, however, he was also a generous man, and he insisted it be provided with a bed and with writing materials should it ever feel the need for them. And finally, the Crucible Tower Governor's Office. The Governor's Office, quietly luxurious, at least by the standards of the Kukerbet. Collars was devoted to his cause and his service, but he did insist on his little pleasures. Alright, got another porphyrin. I should probably find another place for the flowers now. Genealogical chart. 6 years ago, King George's heir, Edward, killed him in a quarrel over Edward's womanizing. The kingdom was saved from constitutional collapse by Henry Huddleston Abney Hastings, 13th Count of Loudon, who claimed descent through the Plantagenet line. Heaven lift the new king. Collars was keenly interested in the history of the houses Tudor, Plantagenet, Hanover, Windsor, etc., all the way back to the days of the Leashed Flame. He also doodled the Suppression Bureau seal by the name of King Henry's mother, Edith. Of course, Lady Edith serves as Nocturnal Secretary, the minister with final responsibility for the entire bureau. Alright, and I think that is it for any art. We'll maybe take a look down in the Dawn period, but I believe we've finished that, which means we'll start moving on to furniture. Crucible Tower, Governor's Quarters. In this room, the Governor was Collars the artist, Collars the dreamer. It was a side of him that almost no one saw, especially when, after the death of his wife, he grew so much more solitary. That said, there is a connection to be drawn between his enthusiasm for sculpture and his ambitions for his human subjects. And Crucible Tower, the interview laboratory. When a prisoner resisted all other interventions, Collars would bring them here to test and refine their worth. His successes might be transferred to Zurich or turned over to the Legion du Sol to earn their humanity, or even at least once released. But his successes were not numerous. Here at last is where the fire began and where it ended. When the power below the prison was released, it came here to interview Collars. Perhaps it intended to put him in his own device, but it seems there was not nearly enough left of him for that. I always like this touch personally. Okay, let's move on. So again, a lot of these are attached to the walls, so I can't really interact with them. And caves aren't exactly the sort of place where you find a lot of art hanging on the walls, so I'm going to guess that there's not a whole lot for us to really interact with. Also, the last time that I sort of tried to take a look at individual objects, they tended to be consumed and produce the same sort of the same write-up, so I don't know if I want to spend a whole lot of time investigating those, but perhaps let's take a look at some of the the different, I think any of the more permanent objects I'm willing to take a peek at. So the goddess who changes skin, to every god her skin. As I used to say in my youth, the day is done and so am I, but I've earned my pay. Goddess who changes skin, to every god her skin. Forgotten name of the moth. This is the Chapel Callicite. The Red Grail says, "Never speak of this mystery. I was always the first, and I must always be greatest. When we spilt the blood of the Thunderskin, I feasted and I grew strong, stronger again than the twins. There's always a feast, and nothing is truly wasted." Okay, Hawthorn Black, a wood favored by the horned axe. So again, running out of places to put things. I think I'm just going to start putting them in the vaults. Okay, more wood for today. Bulbos of Spring, a votive vessel for harvest offerings. It might be construed as friendly. Night has fallen, dawn will come soon. So of course we want to put our old moment away. As I used to say in my youth, the day is done and so am I, but I've earned my pay. Cat of Depths, a votive offering to the Horned Axe. The Horned Axe has been known to appreciate both owls and cats. Well, we have that in common at least. Alright, new day. And I think based on the fact that the Affair of the Second Skin is being picked up, I think that means we are... Huh. Weird. I'm not in beta. Okay. I don't know if this is part of the base game now, but... A gift from Dr. Blackwood, a package from Dr. Serena Blackwood, who once also served as librarian here. Librarian, I remember very well how remote Brankrug is from the world. In Alexandria, I have both a telegraph office and more company than I can easily stand. You will, I think, make better use of this than I. Best wishes, Serena. There's no reason why I shouldn't have started with the sweet bones, to be honest. All right, let's take a look at that owl. All right, so this is the writing case. Now, again, I don't know what the story is with the base game. This is definitely for House of Light and inviting visitors back. So I'm just going to sort of put this in a private room, and I'm probably not going to engage with it that much on this run. But a sturdy brass-cornered writing case, which has been of service to at least 3 librarians of the house. Use your writing case and a desk to invite visitors to a salon. To invite visitors, add your writing case as discussion subjects when you visit them in Brandkrug. Oh, I should probably be making my porphyrin. Deepen the ichor into the Encastum Terminale porphyrin. And we might as well get ourselves another ichor auroral. Owl of Spirals, an ancient bird for an ancient place. To every cry, its beginning. And then quite a bit in the... Sorry, I should probably read these. So, Chapel Asite, the Horned Axe says, never speak of this mystery. When the Thunderskin was mortal, he served the hours who slew my kind. I required the Thunderskin's death, and so the Grail gave him up. There is always a reckoning, and nothing is truly forgiven. And the Chapel Malachite, the Ring you says, never speak of this mystery. When the Thunderskin was mortal, he loved me first, and so the Grail destroyed him. Now the Thunderskin delights forever in my succulence. There is always a renewal, and nothing truly ends. Now here, all of this seems to be consumable, so... let's... So as far as, quote-unquote art goes, I think that is it. I never did try the key a second time. I'm wondering... Now what? Oops. Okay, crafting. Alright, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an investigation by furniture. I know that doesn't sound the most exciting, but I have my reasons. Straw cushion chair, upholstered without any particular skill. Fraser, who does not know Hyksos. Is there someone en route to Hush House? Mr. Fraser Strathcoyne, philanthropist, collector, former librarian, a complicated man, but not a cruel one. On the second skin, you have heard the rumors about me, no doubt. You will understand that I am sympathetic to any who undertake a pilgrimage of the flesh. Labites are rare. Fallen Labites, rarer still. If Abykassis continues to change, what will he become? Try a book with as much mystery scale as their scale interest. So I believe he's only, he's 3 or 4, so we can give him 108. History is hybrid, eternity pure. I wish I could protect Abykassis. I would have liked to speak with him. Alright, the straw cushion chair, upholstered without any particular skill, a little scratchy, but an optimistic sort would point out that it makes it easier to stay awake when one's eyelids waver. On to the expansive chair. Demotu corporum veditorum. The author rejoices in the name of Abelard Hubris, and the title might be translated as On the Forbidden Motions of Bodies, evidently a reference to Newton's Demotu corporum, published some 20 years previously. Hubris's thesis that stars, planets, and other bodies are proxies or even essences of the hours, and that conjunctions and occlusions reveal the outcome of our intrigues in the Mansus. Hubris declares that the Great Comet of 1577 was a physical embodiment of the hour named Madrugad, and that it disintegrated, but its fragments gravitate to bone marrow, where they can be located even now. He insists that oronoscopic techniques can be used with essential perios and sufficient sky to create a talisman gentrifugic. So we'll use this to make more ichor-auroral. I think I'm picking up too much stuff, so then again, I mean, I don't want to completely waste the whole day, but I don't know if the trip to the moor is giving me what I need. Expansive chair, upholstered in a velvet of peculiar richness that invites the hand. Sit down a while. You've earned it. A printed card reads, "Now safe to sleep in this chair, GC." The lingering repose. History is hybrid, eternity pure. I wish I could protect Abecassis. I would have liked to speak with him. So we got a bronze spintry for the trouble. All right, so it looks like we do get to add Strathcoin to the book. That'll actually be helpful for getting me a certain memory. So I'm going to do that at the writing desk. Or the closest writing desk. I guess that would be the Vagabond. For what you might call an occult correspondence. Lingering repose, upholstered in a velvet of peculiar richness that invites the hand. Carved on the back by the maker, be with me a little while. Hearts and flowers have also been carved by an unauthorized but skillful hand. Just gonna be furniture this time around. When they come, will they come when you do call for them? Okay, always happy to get another one of these. Although we're running out of space. Night sky chair, velvet as smooth as midnight. Sometimes seat of the sometimes seat of the secretary enigmatic of the Curia, whose responsibilities and even identity were not widely discussed, but might conceivably have been one called CC. Star-strewn chair. Oh yes, I didn't deal with the packages. Star-strewn chair, velvet soft as starlight. The pattern was reputedly preferred by Baron Thomas. And in this room, sorry, I should maybe read the descriptions of the rooms when I go through them as well. So the Watchman's Tower, the Gatehouse. Back in the 11th century, Brian of Brittany built the tower and its gate to protect St. Brendan's Abbey, as Hush House was then known. Later, the Barons de Wolf strengthened the gate against their many enemies, but it's a long time now since Hush House was any kind of fortress, and by the time the scholars of the Curia took possession, this place had long been a comfortable waiting room for visitors to the house too minor to merit immediate attention. We also went to the Keeper's Lodge for 500 years. In the times we call baronial, curia, nocturnal, there was always a keeper to watch the ways, weed the gardens, mend the roof when the sun was shining. There is no keeper now, but the lodge's roof still weathers the storms of Brankrug Bay. And the Watchman's Tower, the first floor, the notorious Ava de Wolf, first and last Baroness Brankrug, liked this room, because this side of the house carried the fewest memories of her poor father Valentine, so she could eavesdrop on the conversations of visitors waiting below, or just because of how the pale light slanted through the windows in the last days of winter. On to Kitty's armchair. Investigate the object. This looks like the armchair in which Kitty Mazarine, second librarian, sat for El Breton's famous group portrait. Kitty Mazarine, the story goes, napped in an armchair and dreamt of mirrors. She woke to find herself humming an unknown melody. That melody became her fuguing tune, 30 Birds. If this really is that armchair, it's a little bit of history. That's all we've got. Nothing really to speak of in these gardens, and I don't think we really have any furniture to engage with here, so I'll just read the descriptions. The Practic Garden. In the early days of St. Brendan's Abbey, the brothers practiced the arts of war here. So it was that in baronial times the garden was a favourite of the martial, quarrelsome de Wolfs. St. Brendan's Cloister, the sisters and brothers of the Abbey, built these gardens in the 13th century at the height of the period we now call Solar Gothic. Walk here a while and breathe the peace they left. The Long Tower Solomon's Study. In 1818, the Very Reverend Solomon Husher became third librarian of the Curia of the Isle. He took rooms in the Long Tower as his quarters. Husher's tastes were Spartan, although the Curia generally liked a little more luxury. No one ever quite dared to redecorate the place after his disappearance. And finally, the Long Tower Solomon's Quarters, generally reckoned the chilliest room in the house. The Long Tower was usually called the Winter Tower until Julian Cosley, Magus Epistler, reputed Long, dwelt here briefly in the 17th century. Solomon Husher was the second known to sleep in this room. Evidently, they didn't mind the cold. So we will investigate. I think we'll investigate the glinting cranial tchotchke and the packages. More laundry. All right. Can't complain with more linen. It's just not what I really wanted. It's funny I can't open this door. Okay. We will move the flowers to another spot. I've been adding to the vault down below, so we'll continue on that note. It did occur to me I should have used the sunny day to generate the porphyrin. Okay. Or, sorry, the ichor auroral. See what the weather brings first. Okay. It's a pretty easy one for me to work with, so we'll take the sunny day this time. I know it's getting a little repetitive here, but at least for this, I'm building towards something. I think I'm going to skip the more, because I'm not 100% sure that I'm really getting the value out of that. And yeah, we can read the... Okay, let's find something else to investigate in the house. So, the scent garden, this too dates from the time of the Abbey, but in summer, neither sisters nor brothers were permitted to spend more than a single hour here, lest the temptation of savors overwhelm them. The entrance hall, this is the beginning of the house proper. The curia used to issue gloves and slippers of soft leather to protect the books and premises. Visitors were often asked to remove their shoes, pause a moment, and listen to the histories. The Physic Garden. The nuns of the Knot planted this garden of healing herbs in the Dawn period. Natan of Regensburg and Gideon de Wolf both expanded it, and the Curia of the Isle tended it. Even the Branch and Bureau made use of it in the grim days that Brandkrug served as a prison. Oh, I did say I was going to take a look at the tchotchke, didn't I? Okay. I think I'll keep going on this this little rotation here. Someone has tucked a glinting lens into one of its eye sockets. There's no sign of any cranial trauma. Rule that out as a cause of death. Let's put that... here. No room. Okay, now we can take a look at the furniture. Sand! Technically the item that I want isn't even as relevant to what I need anymore, but I'm still hanging on to it. Or still hanging on to hope. There's a newspaper that you can get that is pretty good at generating the occult scraps. Alright, I don't have the... oh, no, I do have an Ichor. The comfortable garden chair, amateurly varnished, characterfully stained. Shadows shift, sunbars follow. Okay, I've been skipping reading the text here just because I've... oops, obviously I made a mistake there. The restful garden chair. Sit here and listen to the trees grow, or the leaves fall. Preferences differ. Inlaid with green-stained bone. Okay, so let's put the feather... where do I even fit this stuff? Will you fit? You will not fit. Okay, so... Icor Auroral, if you please. I think I may have forgot to put the lantern in, maybe. And I don't think we can interact with any of these other things, so that's it for this room. The infirmary in the 15th century, Natan of Regensburg came to Brandkrug. The brothers of St. Brendan's granted sanctuary, but they would not permit a Jew and his family to live on abbey grounds. Still, they built this tower for him to dwell in and practice his healing arts. It has changed greatly since that time, but a place of healing it remains. And I think I've just noticed the time. I will investigate this furniture, but we will see the result in the next episode. So I must apologize. I was hoping that we would get either Numa or a different visitor than Fraser. As it is, Fraser Strathcoyne hoped but did not expect to shield Abacassus from his hunters. So really, I don't have a whole lot of plans for today. I think we're just going to try and rush through summer. And then we can maybe see where the next... the next season takes us. Again, I do have a couple of options that I can use to sort of force certain events to happen, but I'm not quite at that point yet because there's still furniture for me to check. So what I'll do is I'm going to do double duty. So in addition to just checking all of the furniture, we will get the description of the different rooms. And then when we complete that, if we're still not where I want to be in terms of the playthrough, then we can take stock and see where everything lies. Anyways, until tomorrow, take care. Thank you very much for watching.